Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland Retrospective here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where my guests and I each pick a film related in some shape or form. And hopefully, by the end of this episode, you have two movies to go check out. And it's time to go to space or bring space to us. And joining me, as it is the third Thursday of the month, it is SPDM Crew member and my friend Luke.
Hello, and let's go to space.
Yes, Luke, we're going to Forbidden Planet.
Oh no.
And this we will indeed be talking about 1956's Forbidden Planet and 1953's The War of the Worlds. And let's get started here with Forbidden Planet. And this film is directed by Fred M. Wilcox and starring Walter Pidgeon as Dr. Morbius. I will admit, while I was watching this, Jess did make a plethora of Morbin time and did this make him more $1 billion
Same.
jokes.
It was back in my head, and the name Morbius is still, ruined forever because of that. Yep.
Thanks, 2024?
Jared
Four?
Leto. Was it
Four?
even four? I thought
Three?
it was like three or even one. It
I
feels like a long time ago.
I don't want to remember this.
22, Shane, 2022.
Wow.
Yep. Yep. So 4 years now. Almost four
one
years.
of one of two movies I have actively made the decision that I was okay going to the bathroom during. Um,
Oh.
sometimes I didn't have a choice. That one, I'm like, could I hold it? Yeah. Will
So you
I?
missed the
No.
scene when he said it's Morbin time, yeah? So you missed it.
Yes, I 100% missed the it's Morbin time, and this movie's gonna make a more $1 billion scenes.
Yes.
Because they 100% exist, obviously. Also starring the beautiful Anne Francis, and most importantly, in a completely 100% serious dramatic role, it is Leslie Nielsen as Commander Adams. So,
AKA Skipper.
yep, except the most important member of the cast is Robbie the Robot. Which Robbie the Robot's one of the most iconic
Mm-hmm.
things in science fiction, so
Mm-hmm.
but a starship crew in the 23rd century goes to investigate the silence of a distant planet's colony, only to find just two survivors, a powerful robot and the deadly secret of a lost civilization. But Luke, what are your general thoughts on Forbidden Planet?
So I really liked Forbidden Planet. I loved Robbie the Robot. Like he
Hmm.
was such a nice guy, such a cool dude. Like he seemed pretty cool. I it's insane. This was Leslie Nielsen's debut. Not only he's the young, serious Leslie Nielsen, but this is apparently his acting debut. So I was like, good for him. Because he's been acting then until 2007, 8. That's
Mhm.
wow. That's like Sidney Lumet kind of career right there.
Yeah,
And
all
no,
those scary movies towards the end where he plays the president.
like honestly, has there been a star in Hollywood, that had a one career and because of one movie that had not only a second career, but the second career was something totally different than what they had before. Like because he was a
Liam
super
Neeson,
yeah, exactly.
who,
I mean, oh yeah,
which is the whole entire meta context of the new
yes,
Naked Gun movie.
that's a very good point. Damn, that's a
Look,
such a
look, there are so
mm-hmm.
many reasons why Liam Neeson was the perfect choice
Mm-hmm.
to be in the Naked Gun movie.
Yes.
And only the first one is because his name slightly sounds like Leslie
Was
Nielsen.
yep, yep, yep. No, but to finish my opening statement, Your Honor,
Yeah.
I really liked it. I enjoyed my time. I thought the design, especially when they go down under, I
Mm,
thought that the set design everything was pretty spectacular. Not even
yeah.
for the time, just pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I had overall like a really good time. What about you, Shane?
So, to give some context, I first saw this film in college
Hmm.
because I went to Barnes and Noble and they have those TCM collections where you could buy like a set of four movies that have
Hmm.
some kind of theme. There's like
Yeah,
actor ones, there's genre ones. And I really wanted 2001: A Space Odyssey
of
because I
course.
wanted to watch that for the first time. And it was paired with Forbidden Planet, Soylent Green, and The Time Machine, the Rod Taylor one, not the Guy Pearce 2002 one, which
Yeah.
was a bit misguided. Um, the the Rod Taylor one's like obnoxiously a sci-fi movie of this period. But I watched Forbidden Planet for the first time, and the first thing you have to notice is they got so many of the sound designs and stuff like that of sci-fi movies because of this movie.
Yeah.
Like the UFO sounds, the ray gun sounds, Robbie the Robot sound, like all of these things are so well designed and
Hmm.
executed. This movie's a little hard to watch really loud because it like hits your eardrums with some of the sounds that they make.
Hmm.
But like the sound design and everything's great. Obviously, it looks like a set, but the design of this planet, and like you mentioned, like the lost civilization of the Krell is so cool.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
this stuff is
Yeah.
really cool. And Robbie the Robot's such a cool design and such an interesting character. And like he's just effortlessly carrying massive amounts of weight and making endless supply of booze.
Hmm.
What a bro. What a
Yes.
bro. Robbie the Robot would be the coolest kid in the fraternity.
The ultimate robro.
Right? Yep. That was just hanging right there and I didn't even see it. Good for you, Luke. Um and I love Walter Pidgeon because he plays that like super intelligent scientist character so perfectly. His voice, his
Hmm.
cadence, just the casualness of how intelligent that he is. And how aloof he is to the dangers of the things that he's doing. I'm not saying Anne Francis is a great actress, but like she's gorgeous
Damn.
and she also
Hmm.
is like this temptress for like all of the horny ass dudes on this ship who have not seen a woman in years.
Yeah.
It's like a woman, what does a woman look like? Like I wouldn't be I was half expecting them to do like that like jaw drop,
Oh
heart
yeah.
eyes pop out.
Awooga. Awooga. Yeah.
Auga!
Yep. Yep.
And then Leslie Nielsen does a really fine job of anchoring this film down in this more serious, grounded type role.
Hmm.
And Freud. Um, hey Luke, did you know they really loved Freud back then?
Hmm. Hmm.
Cocaine and sleeping with your mother.
Sure do. They sure did. And no, I'm not even gonna go there. No, it's fine.
Moving on.
Moving on. No, to your point about the sets, like this is the kind of movie I find charming. Like
Yes.
if, like there's always exceptions to the rule, and you can argue the second movie we're gonna talk about soon is, for me, the exception, even though that might be controversial. But like, if the movie is charming enough, and if the movie is so ahead of its time, yes, can I see these are clear sets? Like, if this actor walks 10 more feet in front of them, they will bump into the wall. Yes, I can see it. But
Yeah.
like, they are so in the moment. They are not
Yeah.
making fun of where they are. Like, this is one of the reasons there's many reasons this became the classic it is. We need to mention this ultimately gave us Star Trek. Because Gene Roddenberry said it was due to this movie he started to think about this concept and Star Trek came about. So not only the
Also
sound,
drew a
yep,
lot of Freud.
yes, yes. So not only, like, you're totally right, like the design of the Robbie the robot, the sound design, the scale, not scope. Well, even school, yeah. But it's that movie is epic and also iconic on so many different layers. I do understand why it's and also, oh yeah, that's where I was going. Sorry, me yapper, and I'm like yapping my way around it. This was one of the first sci-fi movie that actually took its premise seriously. And this is what this was my comment about everybody's in on it. Meaning
Yep.
before that, if you watch any sci-fi movies prior, like from 50s, 40s, they're mostly silly. They're mostly, hey, we are attacked by giant ants or giant tomatoes or
You
giant
mean
what spiders or kittens.
them?
Yes. Look, I genuinely, I think there is a movie where they are attacked by giant kittens. Like, I'm not even making it up. I think there's a
I'm
Hollywood
sure it
movie.
does.
Yes. So, like, sci-fi was like, like kind of like horror used to be. It's a punching bag where, oh yeah, you make these silly movies, nobody cares. Oh, you make pew pew sound here. Oh, you're so adorable. We'll give you $100 for snacks and a movie, and you make a movie. Go ahead. Cast some hottie, whatever, right? And this was the first movie that actually kind of took it seriously and said, no, what if sci-fi, but serious? And I think ultimately this is why this is celebrated up until today. This is why many movies, TV shows still borrow bits and pieces from this movie. And it's pretty cool. Like the monster attack, like when you see the shape of the monster in that like field, whatever that was,
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty fucking cool. I was like, damn, I miss
This
seeing shit like that.
the sound design
Yep.
too on top of it. But no,
Mm-hmm.
the computer generated
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
vision of what the monster from the id looks
Yeah.
like
Yes.
caught in that force field, and then you see how it looks. Like that was some really cool special effects for 1956.
Yes.
Like the computers were sizes of rooms back then, and like they were doing stuff like that. And it's really cool. And you know, there was a big gap of time between, something like Metropolis, which
Mm-hmm.
was an epic of science fiction from the 20s. And then all of this time where, like, no, they weren't really making sci-fi in the way that we think it. And
Mm-hmm.
then, of course, in the 50s, you're getting them, and all these other really kind of trashy sci-fi flicks. But no, you get films like this. And
Mm-hmm.
then Howard Hawks's, I know he didn't technically direct it, but everybody flashes his name on the thing from another world.
Yep.
But like all of these really starting to take science fiction in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you watch this movie and don't think this was influential on Star Trek, um, I don't know what to tell you because like it's all right there. Especially because Jess and I have just watched the first 12 episodes of the original 80 episode run. And I'm
Nice.
sitting there, I'm like,
Yep.
I I'm Frodo in Moria. I'm like, I've seen this before. I know it's when they're in the like the giant stones trying to get to Mordor. I'm like, I've seen this before, going in circles. And it's like, no, it's like
Mm-hmm.
obviously he Roddenberry came out and says like, yeah, this was influential.
Yes.
And obviously because the three main characters of Star Trek are based off of, the whole id, ego, super ego thing. And then
Mm-hmm.
this movie's like, your brain is so well developed that a monster from your id is being projected out into the world. I'm like, I remember watching this when I was like 18, 19, and just being like, that's so cool before I
Mm-hmm.
realized that Sigmund Freud was hopped up on cocaine and telling people
I
that
mean,
all they
who
want
wasn't at
to
the time? Like, who at the,
do fair. And the fact that like all the psych people I know hate Freud.
I see.
And just like so much of his stuff is not right and outdated. But like this
Mm-hmm.
was such a time because
Mm-hmm.
people back then are like Sigmund Freud, and how that like bleeds into melding. like them is just a giant dumb movie with giant ants. Like this is actually trying to have something intellectual to add into it.
Yes.
And there's some crazy moments like that. What am I blanking? It was a tiger, right?
Yes, there was a
Yeah,
tiger.
the tiger attack thing. I'm like, holy crap! Like that's
Just a random tiger on this planet.
an interesting stunt to do in 1956. And how they pulled that off was probably more complicated than it looks, to
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
perfectly honest. And you know, what do you expect when you get a bunch of dudes who've been all crammed on a ship, and then there's one woman there?
Who's
And
she like 10 out of 10? Like, like she's like this stunning blonde bombshell. It's like, hey, this is my supermodel daughter. Don't pay any attention to her. Like, she's
this is
fine.
my supermodel daughter. Don't touch her.
But she likes to kiss.
It's just like,
Hmm.
here, let's do this just for science.
Hmm.
Smooch.
Hmm.
It's like, did you feel anything? She's like, no. But then when she gets a real man
Leslie
named
Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen, to come over here. It's so this movie is like this is peak 50s sci-fi. Like
Hmm.
this elevates, like you were pointing out, like this elevates the genre to a different level of the time.
Hmm.
And that's what makes it so special and influential. When you take it seriously, it's navigating something interesting and it has interesting things to say,
Hmm. Hmm.
even if like uh intellectually some of the stuff is outdated. But like to be fair, this is from 1956, so like this is 70 some years ago at this point. So it's like,
Like,
yeah,
oh, I don't like look, it's from 1956. The fact they didn't have somebody like wearing a blackface or something like that, to me, that's a win. Okay?
that's
Like,
that's a
to
win.
me, that's a win first. And but what I was gonna bring up, I find this is what I have a love-hate relationship with. These older movies, they are so paced. Sometimes it's very tight, very nice, but sometimes like, hey, I can see on my Blu-ray player there's 5 minutes left, and we still haven't resolved. We still in the middle of this. How are they gonna all back it up in 5 minutes? Oh yeah, they're gonna just do this, and okay, and then cut to the ship, and then okay, yeah, and then just the end. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
And it's just
we
like
we were still in the
sometimes,
era where movies just ended.
yes. Which look, when
Action's
it
done.
when
Go
it
home.
works, when it
Yeah,
works, it fucking slaps. Like an American Werewolf in Paris. Perfect example of that movie stopped exactly where it needed. It just slaps. 10 out of 10. No notes. But like, with these movies, like, oh damn, this is kind of serious. Like they seem to be quite a few loose plot threads hanging about. And we only have 4 minutes now. Time is ticking, guys. What the fuck is gonna happen? And then, oh yeah, it's just gonna go like this. Cool. And this is like again, it's charming enough. Well, so it didn't bother me as much. But it's one of those things that now it stops me from being like, oh, I fully love this movie. But it's
yeah. For
still,
being an
yeah.
hour and 38-minute movie,
Hmm.
this could have even been tighter
Hmm.
at times. And then it's just like mad dash and
Yeah.
dash to finish the movie.
Yes.
Um, and like I had the same, so it was interesting because I've seen this movie so many times. I didn't feel the need to like sit down, watch this all at once
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
like was trying to watch it and I had to stop it with like 12 minutes left
Hmm.
to go on a double date. When I stopped it, I'm like, the monster didn't even attack yet. It's a like I've seen this movie enough where I'm just like, I know what's gonna happen. And
Yep.
I'm like, the monster hasn't even attacked yet. How much do they cram in the last
Yep.
12 minutes of this movie? And it's just like, it's that. You get the monster attack, you get them getting to like the like science officer guy trying to go into the machine to make his brain bigger
Oh
and
yeah.
that not going so well. And then finally the monster comes for Dr. Morbius
Hmm.
and wrecks him and is like bada boom, we're on the ship, time to go. Blow up planet. Movie over.
That
I'm
was
like,
one powerful explosion, by the way. I like that fucked up that part of the universe. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, what kind of nukes did you have in in the 23rd century?
Yep.
Like, no, that definitely they mad rushed the third act of this movie in 12 minutes.
A wee bit, yes, a wee
Just a
bit,
wee
yeah.
bit.
But no, like I
Well,
think overall, like it's we talked about a movie on your other podcast, Cinematic Wasteland, we all called charming. And I think
yes.
this, despite not being a romantic comedy, despite this being a sci-fi with Leslie Nielsen in it, I still would call it charming and the but for different reasons, obviously. But I think the number one reason is this is so influential and those people are taking seriously and they're having fun and this movie is trying to be about something despite maybe a bit outdated here and there, sure,
Yeah,
but it at least is trying to do something and I always will respect that.
absolutely. Well, are we ready to talk about the War of the Worlds?
Let's do this.
This is from 1953 and even shorter in an hour and 27 minutes. A small town in California is attacked by Martians, beginning a worldwide invasion. This is from director Byron Haskin. And to be frank, I didn't really recognize like almost anybody
Yep.
from this movie. And I'm sure we'll talk about that. But in terms of general thoughts, Luke, what are your thoughts on the War of the Worlds?
So this is my second time watching this. The first time was 2024, so not that long ago.
Mhm.
But I wasn't gonna chance it because I was like, I don't really like, because I remember being just okay on it. Like I thought it was just fine. So I was like, you know what? Let's give it another shot. And so I watched it just before this recording, and nothing's changed. It's just okay. And I know it's a controversial opinion, I think, because this movie is beloved, and you can, as with the Forbidden Planet, you can see like the impact it had on this genre, 100%. But I really don't like how they go about the plot. I really don't like how they choose to incorporate religion as a like at first it's kind of nuanced and I was like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. It's 53. It's fine. And then the third act happens and I'm like, I remember now. And that kind of not subtle imagery, I'm like that just rubs me the wrong way. And a movie about a sci-fi, like a sci-fi movie where it's like, hey, how we beat the aliens? Maybe Jesus. Like, and I know, like, ultimately they say what we, like, I know what happens in a movie, but maybe. Well, actually, wait, no, there's a last line that says, God put them there to protect us because He knew, and I'm like, ah. Okay, anyway, I don't even know where you
See,
stand, so tell me.
you see, I don't feel like H.G. Wells was going for God saved us, Deus ex machina germs. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to say something about, the fragility of life and stuff like that. But,
Apparently, he was agnostic. He was
like this
agnostic.
was the
So
1950s, so they're
yes.
like, well, we gotta make it about Jesus, right? And like to be frank, and this is real easy to talk about the ending because like
Hmm.
this book is like well over 100 years old. So like
Yes.
if you don't know the ending to War of the Worlds at this point, because here's the
Hmm.
thing, they religiously adapt the ending every time to
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
Well, except for I guess one thing we can give the most recent Ice Cube led the War of the Worlds is that this did not end the same exact way that every other War of the
Well,
Worlds
maybe
movie
I'll like it
ended.
more.
The only it's like the only saving grace is that they
Okay.
didn't do the original terrible ending, but no, Amazon helped save the day
Of course.
in the War of the Worlds.
The good
Uh,
guys.
made
The
made
best
for
company.
made for Amazon Prime Video.
Yes.
Uh, synergy, folks, synergy.
Hmm. Hmm.
But no, I've always hated the ending of this story because it feels so. I can understand it happening in a book,
Hmm.
and them navigating that. But from a movie perspective, it's extremely uncinematic and anticlimactic.
Yes.
And I will give this movie credit because there was a very powerful shot of showing like one of the aliens dying, and that was like a really interesting, like the
Hmm.
hand
Yes. Yeah.
like going limp. I'm like, okay, that was a cool shot.
It was.
Like, it doesn't save the fact that this is a really dumb and really frustrating way to end this story.
Like, look, even if I put my not necessarily love for religion aside for a moment, like the fact that we spent so it's 80 minutes, 87 minutes, right? The fact we spent about 85 minutes of the movie watching these aliens totally alienated, like like demolishing everything that come into their path and our weapons, even the nuclear ones, not being effective, and only for them to just die. And I'm like, wait, how did they survive again? Like, what happens with this? Oh yeah, the bacteria that's in the air eventually got them. Not they didn't stop them at any point before. Only when
Convenient.
yes, only when our protagonist finally reunited at this church praying, they suddenly are like, "Oh, I'm died. I'm dead." Like this is just and it's just like, look, I know like bacteria, look, I understand slow moving, all that. Yeah, yeah, cool, cool, cool. I kind of hate when they because like movies are visual, so it's like show don't tell, right? But we need to be told like a tiny bit, and then look, we have in narrations like only then we discovered it's the bacteria from the earth we gotten so used to over the time, and God put them there for a reason. And I'm like, well, Jesus, fuck, like,
So you want to hear a movie that did this whole it's all there for a reason better?
mhm.
Go watch Signs.
I mean,
Like,
yes.
yes. You want to go see a War of the Worlds movie where the germ is more interesting than just it's a random germ? Go watch Independence Day,
Like Independence
where
Day,
like
despite its
they have to
cheesiness,
do something.
exactly, they
Like,
had to
yeah,
infect them. Like,
yeah.
despite all the cheesiness and all the pro-American, like, hey, hee
'Cause
ho,
let's be
Americans
real
blow up
here.
shit.
Independence Day is literally just War of the Worlds.
Yes, except like in this very instance, in this very one instance, it actually makes sense because they need to infect it with the Trojan virus, if I remember correctly. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that in ages.
Well, yeah,
But
because
look,
the Trojan horse. And
yes,
here's the
yes.
thing, they gave action and agency to the characters, which makes the
Hmm.
climax more
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
And we got to see Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum hang out, which is so much cooler than what happens at the end of this movie.
Yes. And
Right.
and it's the thing. It feels like, I'm not saying I want them people in the church die, but kinda. Because like if you see these aliens basically like eliminating everything in their path and all of a sudden they just drop dead, it feels very anticlimactic. It feels very undeserved, unearned. It was like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm like, okay. And like as you say, like this is something that will work in a book. I would imagine like I don't have you read it?
Yeah, yeah, but like way back,
Hmm.
like probably middle school,
Yeah.
most
Like
likely.
I've never read the book. I know it's like iconic. And but the thing is it's book or books are different medium. So
Yes.
something that works well in a book doesn't necessarily have to translate to movies unless you actually adapt it to the
And I
cinematic
want them to
medium.
stop directly adapting the ending of this book into movies because it's not interesting in a movie. But like they do it in this. I think the Steven Spielberg movie is infinitely better than this one.
Hmm.
But we'll get to some positives that I actually like about
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah.
Because like here's the thing. My general thoughts, this is rock solid.
It
It's a
is.
solid movie.
Yes,
Like, I don't think
it's fine.
this deserves to be like this is a sci-fi great movie. It's not. It's solid. And I can see why it stood the test of time, but the Steven Spielberg movie is so much more impactful. It
Hmm.
still also ends with the same damn thing, but here's the thing. Why does it work different? We care about this one family.
Hmm.
It's about them sticking together and outlasting this threat. This movie is about trying to defeat the threat.
Hmm.
That's how they frame this whole thing. And I guess to get the rest of the negatives I have this out of the way, this is one of those sci-fi movies that really, or just older movies in general, that relies way too heavily on narration.
Yep.
I don't need you spelling all this out for me. Like, I get it, throwing in the narration to bridge that gap when it jumps time and
Hmm.
changes scale.
Yep.
But like, I don't need you narrating this whole damn movie for me. You don't need to hold my hand. It's okay. I'm an adult. I can watch this movie. And two, I don't think this has the strongest cast. Like, there's a couple of actors and acting moments that I feel like maybe
Hmm.
stand out a little bit. I thought that was pretty powerful with the priest
Yes.
going up to like, and I would have been fine if the movie just ended religious stuff with that.
Hmm.
Um, but like, nobody really stands out. So this movie, in an execution standpoint, from a narrative and a storytelling standpoint, is solid. It's fine.
Yes. Look, we shot on it for a bit too much. So, like, yes, exactly. It is fine. I don't hate it. Excuse me.
But
Yes.
where this is positive
Hmm.
is some crazy Martian action stuff.
That is true. And the
Yep.
colors, the color,
Yes.
look, like I like when we spoke about the set design of it all. I do like the beginning. I do like how sometimes it you can also tell, oh, this is a set. Sometimes you can tell, oh, this isn't actually shot on like, like outside. Cool. And I think the movie makes a choice because like I actually vibed with the second third of the second part act. Sorry, I was like, what do we usually yeah, act,
Yeah.
yeah, second act of the movie, but it's more like, hey, humanity is kind of fucked. Like how they, the mob is robbing everybody and like they are breaking stuff and they are like going up against themselves. Like, the guy is like, you're cutting your throats, you don't even know it. And it's like, is it a bit heavy-handed? Sure, but it's 1953. I'll give it a pass. It's fine. So like, had it only stayed and added that humanity aspect, how, despite all the problems and us being dicks, we can still unite and conquer whatever is in front of us. With a bit of religion, sure. With a bit of Jesus, okay, cool. But if the whole entire solution is we will survive in this church because God put the bacteria in the air
Pray the
for us.
Martians away.
Yes, and one God a day keeps the Martians away, and it's just yeah. I like, but at the same time, I cannot deny the staying power this story obviously has. I think this is the culprit of many, 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 many movies about aliens are here and they want to kill us. And here's the thing, like, like there's a movie from the 50s, I can't remember the name, I need to look it up. That was actually about something else. There was a, hey, aliens are here, but we are attacking them first, and they just defending. They didn't want to attack us in the first place. This was just a, like a, they want to
Are you
scoop us
talking about the
out.
day the Earth stood still?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's also another one. There's also
Okay.
another one. But and so depending on where you stand on a sci-fi genre and this specific genre about, hey, aliens are here, but they will always attack us for no reason at all, just because alien hostile, because they are not human, so they obviously will want us make us like slaves and stuff. And I'm like, this is obviously because that's the blueprint for this kind of story. So I
Yeah.
like, depending on where you stand on that blueprint. Yeah.
I think what makes this, like, obviously, I've been very negative to this
Hmm.
movie up to this point. What makes this worthwhile, one, it's like an hour and 27 minutes. This is a
Hmm.
lean movie. Two,
Yes. Yes.
I really like the mystery and the community of the first act of them trying to figure out what the hell this thing is. Like, that mechanism worked, and I do feel like it's lost a bit when they go like big scale. Um, because you lose that connection that you had with those characters. But
Hmm.
when the action kicks in, the special effects kick in, the ships, the glow, the green glowing lights, the beams and the sound design of those beams, like
Hmm.
this is intense. Like
Yep.
this feels like all out war is happening. It it legitimately feels like it has the scale and impact of a war movie. And that's really cool.
Yes.
And there's the like the alien designs, the imagery of like the Eiffel Tower being like mangled,
Hmm.
and like the city streets, and like it looks like a set, but it looks like a really cool, very well constructed destroyed city looking set. And like
Hmm.
all of this, there's a lot of incredible imagery in this movie that
100%.
really works well. And from like if you're thinking about this from like a sci-fi thriller standpoint, it works. It works really well. And it's thrilling, it's exciting, and it has a good sense of mystery. And there's just some really fun elements to this. It's just at the end of the day, feels a little anticlimactic.
Hmm.
And you know, but it's still really cool. Like if you're into science fiction, this is a much must watch. Like this is a classic piece of this is what sci-fi looked like back then. And to our point discussing Forbidden Planet, this took this very seriously.
Hmm.
Like this is not a silly, goofy sci-fi getting attacked by giant ants kind of thing. Like this is a sense of dread
Hmm.
that is looming
Yes.
and hanging over us. And I think that is really cool.
I would co-sign pretty much everything you said. Like, yes, there's a lot of things to like about it. That's why I'm still like I'm just gonna say like, it's fine. I do not hate this movie. What I would suggest, if you haven't seen either you or our listeners, it came from outer space from 19 also 53. That would make an interesting double feature. Because this is alien comes to Earth, but we attack it first without that alien did not do us anything. They didn't attack. He just showed up, and the humans are like, oh, we need to kill it because obviously an alien
So,
enemy.
anyways, we started blasting.
Yes, exactly, pretty much. Danny DeVito, yes. And so I think that would be the kind of like interesting double feature with this War of the Worlds, because you have the same exact thing happening, except these aliens in a it came from outer space just show up. They are kind of weird, but they don't vaporize anybody. And the
Hmm.
humans are like, hey, no, we cannot risk it. Blast. So yeah. But anyway, the
Pew,
War of
pew,
the
pew, pew,
World.
pew, pew, pew.
Yes, War of the World. I would cautiously recommend it to you, like if you were like a hardcore like sci-fi person or a cinephile. Yeah, yep.
Yeet,
Both of us are. Yes, Shane
yeet.
is pointing to himself. Both of
Yeah,
us. Like sci-fi. If I had to pick, sci-fi probably would be like top three of my favorite movie genres. Yes.
it is my favorite. So,
Yeah. And I just wish the pieces of this movie are much better than the picture it creates overall. Like this is perfect example of that movie where the elements are better than the ultimate experience of what I've had from this movie.
absolutely. There's a lot to appreciate about
Mhm.
this. It's a low cost of time. It's not even an hour and a half. So, I think it's worthwhile watching. And I probably could have picked something a little bit more on point with Forbidden
Mhm.
Planet and saved War of the Worlds for like paired with even like
Ice
the
Cube.
Spielberg one. Would have had to wait a while for that one, Luke. The
Yeah.
our little 10-year rule here on the
Yep.
retrospective. Yeah, I'm like, God, that wouldn't have been worth the wait. Like pairing this with the Steven Spielberg one. Um, could even realizing now that like yeah, Independence Day is just War of the Worlds. Could always pair
Pretty
that with
much.
Steven Spielberg War of the Worlds. So, but Luke, thank you as always for coming on and chatting movies with me.
Anytime. And if you're still doing this in 10 years' time, we need to do a triple feature. War of the Worlds, War of the Worlds, and War of the Worlds, okay? If you're doing it in 10 years' time, we will do that
There we
triple
go.
feature.
So we can get the we can get
Yes.
the Ice Cube Amazon made,
Yes.
Amazon branded, Amazon propaganda.
Yes.
But in the meantime, next week, Jeff is going to be joining me to talk about Prisoners and Enemy. So a couple of Denis Villeneuve films. And next month, Luke and I will be taking a double dose of Satoshi Kon. We'll be doing Paprika and Millennium Actress. So a lot of cool stuff on the horizon, folks. A lot of cool stuff. But thank all of you for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and share on this episode. What is your go to 50s, 60s era sci fi flick? And make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPDM Crew podcasting network is ever expanding. So many great shows with all different types of interests, especially movies. If you love movies, we got you. And if you're interested in joining one of these shows or you have your own idea for a podcast, reach out to us on our website. And most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Wasteland Retrospective here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.